Hello everyone, I'm silentdeth, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Space Engineers, episode 14. Today, I have a bit of a confession to make. I feel the need for speed. Today, we are going to be building a scout ship. We need more resources. We need to find more resources, especially things like gold and platinum. And for that, we're going to build ourselves a little scout ship to fly around and look at various mineral deposits, see what's there. Nothing combat related in it. Just fly, run away if it gets attacked or something like that. So let's pop over to our space-based creative mode and see what we've built so far. And here she is, the Gull class scout ship. It just looks fast, doesn't it? I really like the little tail section here. I think it's my favorite part of the ship, especially considering that it was something that got added because I had forgotten to put reverse thrusters on it and had to figure out somewhere to put them. But yeah, I really like that part. I think that makes it look the fastest, and it also kind of works with the cockpit, the same kind of slope at the front part. This design, primarily, we have all these blue thrusters, which are Tier 3 efficiency hydrogen thrusters. And then we have a set of these Tier 0 vanilla large hydrogen thrusters to give us a little extra oomph if we need to run away. I did kind of a little challenge for myself while I was building this to leave as little empty space inside as possible. So if we open her up, you'll see this just chock full of blocks. All kinds of blocks. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Oh, that would be an oxygen generator. Yeah, see, there's blocks all over the place. Batteries, lots and lots and lots of these little 2-block hydrogen tanks. Just all over the place. In Frontier, we're using another mod. Wait for that to load. Let's free up a little bit of space. And I have no idea what it's called. Is this the LCD monitors? The mod is called Fighter Cockpit LCD Monitors. And this is a neat little mod that allows you to add LCDs to the vanilla fighter cockpit. As you can see, the blocks just have a big long arm where the LCD will appear inside the fighter cockpit. And there's two sets. One set that applies onto the edges here, has a little sloped thing. It's the wrong button. So like this could go right here. Is this the one we've opened up? Yes. One more down, I think. It's hard to see with symmetry. Let's turn it off then. There we go. I think it goes somewhere down in here. So that's like that, and like that. Yeah, like that. So there's a set that goes like that. And there's another set that goes on the top. Center one. That'll be the set that goes kind of on the outside. And you can see the block texture is a little bit off from the vanilla blocks, a tiny bit. Which is why I didn't use that in this particular design. I used this other one, and down here you can see. Same thing, but it fits on these other 3 blocks down here, so it can be covered up. If we hop inside, see we have 3 nice little LCDs. And unlike with the cockpit over there, if we hop into this one, we have to look down to see the LCDs, except for the first one. First one we can see the top part of, but for this, I'm confusing myself. We can see all of them just without having to move. We want a big field of view for things like this, but for a scout ship, we're really going to be relying mostly on our instruments to do all the looking around for us. So having our LCDs set up like that, I think works better. Now we're going to be adding a few bells and whistles onto this to use those LCD panels for one. Down here we've left a little bit of empty space for us to do some add-ons, some timer blocks, some programming blocks, and things of that nature. And also back here we're going to be adding a few things as well. Let me replumb this area. I was originally going to use these because I thought that we could detach these types of advanced rotors, but we cannot detach advanced rotors at all. You can only detach regular rotors. So I'll have to move things around to get that set up, and probably do a little bit of repiping. What we want to back here, we're going to have 3 rocket launched or hydrogen powered simple decoys, decoy missiles I guess you could call them. Let's go ahead and set those up. These are going to be really, really simple. I'm just going to have a hydrogen tank, a connector, which I may not have the mod set to load in this world, so I'll check that in a moment. We'll have a tier 0 vanilla hydrogen thruster. We don't need to be very fast. Actually, we don't even want to be very fast. We want it to kind of stay near the ship, and looks like we missed some coloring there. Color that. There we go. Right here, we will have a conveyor block. I think these are cheaper than the armored ones. Motor construction component, interior plate. Not a whole lot of difference. I think we'll go with these then. Just use that. Set that there, and we'll need one of the 1x1 batteries. And the decoy itself. Along with the gyroscope. A merge block right next to where we're going to put our connector. Right like that. And let me add that connector mod. I've added the mod. It's right here. A little one block connector. Goes like that. So we now have a way to refuel our hydrogen tank here. We're going with hydrogen thrusters because they're cheaper, significantly cheaper than atmospheric thrusters. And decoys, we want them to be as cheap as possible. Something nice and expendable. Though we also want them to look decent. So towards that last part, we're going to add some panels. This will also keep it from accidentally connecting to our ship. And provide a tiny bit of armor. A very tiny bit of armor. I think we might just go up to here. No, we do want the gyroscope to be protected, I think. Can get rid of the landing gear now, I think. Don't go nowhere. Now the question is, do we want to give this a little bit of a cone? We could do that. A little bit of a flare thing going. Though we may have the problem with it accidentally connecting. Let's see what we have in armor panels. 2x1, a 1x1, and the mirror. I'm not sure we've had all the right pieces. 2x1, where's the 1x slope? Yeah, I don't think that'll look good. We would have to do at least a 2x1. 45. So hard to place things exactly how I want them. Do that there. Nope. Yeah, this is annoying. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing this. We could, of course, try it. But I don't think there's the parts we need. That doesn't look right. Because it's not. It needs to be... I'm not looking at the right block. That's the problem. Yeah, that's just too difficult to play, so we're not going to do that. We'll just have it like this. It's already got a nozzle. We don't need another one. We can copy this. And I think those little armor panels are going to prevent us from easily pasting this on here. But we should still be okay. Gotta make sure that it's out of line of that thruster too. Hopefully it is. And there it lines up. Hey, we can actually just stick that in there. And then lock the connectors. There we go. Now it's going to refuel its hydrogen. And it's ready to launch. We have it launching up relative to our direction of travel. Give it a nice perpendicular direction of travel. Compared to ours, we do want it to be going away from us. So that anybody chasing us will have to chase that out, shoot it down. Partially because we're going to probably be adding some radar AI controlled things at some point in the future. where decoys are really effective against the autopilot mod that we have that adds the radar and all that. In fact, we may want to add radar to this at some point, but all the radars are kind of bulky and they aren't very sleek. So we're not going to put that on right now. I guess that's not going to be necessary either. But that's okay. That's actually kind of good. We'll also get some more maglocks. Maglock pads. We don't have any landing gear on this. I'm thinking we're going to end up building some kind of cradle or something for it. But we don't have a whole lot of places to put it. So something like there. Maybe there. Hopefully that'll be good enough. Now let's add in some bells and whistles. We'll stick in a couple of timer blocks. Let's see if we can't get these centered. Two should do. Then we'll want... I'll give us 4 programs. Might be enough. So 1. We're going to use our battery management. Oh, that's the wrong one. We want the LCD one. Check that code. And we'll change the LCD name in a moment. Remember and exit. Then we're going to use our hydrogen one. I don't know which one has it on. Hydro welder. The one we built for this guy. Haven't actually stayed that. I probably should do that. Oh yeah, it's probably hidden. Hydrogen, nope. H1, that's what I want. And I forgot to save it again. Okay, I'm all lost. I keep doing that. We're working on this one. So Batmon is done. I guess I should change this. We're on block 7. Batmon. Hmon. No. I want details. Rename. And I think I'll upload this to the workshop as soon as I figure out what we're going to call it. And add in the required thingamadoopers. Okay. We'll need that too. Yes, I want to remember my changes. So that's 2 of them. 2 that we've already seen before. Now we have a third little LCD thing. And I'm not sure how we're going to do this. I think the bottom corner one right there is the one we're going to use to display the status of our decoys here. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to do it. So what we need a script to display the status of our decoys, a script to launch our decoys, possibly all the same script, but I'm thinking the launching and the status will be 2 separate things. I think that works. I'm pretty sure that works. So let me copy and paste the other 2 decoys here, and then we'll come back and look at how we're going to do the hydrogen script. We actually need a 3rd script too for the big giant thrusters here. So we need to hurry. We only have 5 minutes left, so let's get to work. We're back. We've done a little bit of work. There's one more thing, or maybe two more things we want to do before we can wrap up this episode. First off, we're going to go to our HMON script. And these big giant thrusters, I want to shut off automatically when we get below 25% fuel. And since our HMON script already monitors the amount of fuel we have, we're just going to add a little bit of code here. So if our fuel is below 25%, we get all of the large hydrogen thrusters. And we turn them off. That's all that does. Remember and exit. I've added ice prior to one to our oxygen generators. We don't need to see those anymore. And I've created this, a decoy script. It has a few arguments. Launch argument, reset argument, the LCD name for the missiles, the missile icon, and that's basically all it is. So it looks through blocks in triggers, which is this up here, and it's down here. It'll find the blocks we want. So it just searches for blocks, timer blocks, and puts them in the triggers thing. Custom name contains decoys. And the LCD panel is just get block with name, LCD name. If argument is reset argument, it turns all the timers back on. And locks all the connectors that the decoys are using. Where's the other one? The launch argument right here. And I'm doing 2 lower here and 2 lower here to make it not case sensitive. So if the launch argument is passed, we apply the action trigger now to the first decoy we find, the first timer that we find. And then we turn the timer off. And then it returns. So it's the first one that is enabled. And that's how we can keep track of which decoy we've launched and which we haven't. And right here, we're just counting the amount of available decoys, which is done by checking how many timer blocks are on. And for each decoy, we add the icon string to message. And we write that to the LCD panel. Pretty simple. Check the code. We'll remember and exit that. Let's copy this little vessel and stick it over here. Actually, first, let's go ahead and set up the hotbar button. So we have master control here. This just triggers all of the blah, 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 blah. It starts all the looping timers, so the program loop timers. In case you know you run out of power or something and it stops the timers ticking, you just click that and it'll start them right back up. We have our big giant thrusters, which I've put in a group called Need for Speed. Then we have the decoy script, which I'm going to put it over here. We're going to run this with the argument launch. I'm left-handed, so I like to have the things that I need to press quickly over on this side of the screen. So 1, 2, 1 for turbo, and 2 to launch a decoy. Then we have the undocking set here, so the connector and recharging the batteries. We also want to put Let's see, tank. Put all these in a group. Gull tanks. Because we're also going to want to turn on and off stockpile along with battery charging. In case we don't have any ice ourselves, which we don't in our Let's Play world right now, we'll have that to be able to switch on and off. In 2, we're going to reset the decoys. So we'll just run with the reset argument. And this is if we've launched all of our decoys and we rebuilt them using the projector that we have right there. This will turn back on all the timers and lock the connectors so that we don't have to manually do that every single time we rebuild and rearm. Just a little bit of convenience, really. It also helps the program to keep track of things. Moving on. I think at 8, what we're going to do is we'll come down here. We have a little bit more room inside. Not a whole lot. And things taking forever to load again. So we want these space only ore detectors. A big giant powerful one. And let's see, I think we can fit that right in here somewhere. Maybe. I thought I could. There's a spot over there. Okay, I guess we can just remove the antenna first. I've added an antenna because I like to have an antenna. It's very convenient when you're sitting at your base and you want to access your base facilities. You don't want to have to get out. Having an antenna works. There we go. I'm going to turn off symmetry because I only want one of these. And we'll just add our antenna back. Assuming I can actually find where in my hotbar I put it. I really wish there was an easier way to organize hotbars. It's a big annoyance for me. Now then, where were we? Oh yes, we're going to come up here. We're going to go... Let's just go ore. That should be easier. So we want the space one off. We're going to add these two to a group called ore detectors. And I should mention this in case you don't already know, but if you try to use the space only one on a planet, you will probably crash your game because there's just so much planetary material, so much rocky stuff for it to check, so much voxel material, I guess is the right term, that it will go nuts and crash. Which is why it wasn't working like it was supposed to earlier. So ore detectors, we're just going to toggle block on and off, and that will automatically toggle between them every time we press that. You might want to move that to another screen. Yeah, let's do that. In case, you know, we don't want to accidentally press something that will crash our game. So we'll move that over to 9 on our second thing. And that's not something we're going to be using very frequently. Now then, we have a few little bells and whistles I'm going to show off. Let me copy this over here. Okay, for our hydrogen thrusters, I decided I want to do something a little bit special. A little bit more than just having them shut off when we get low on fuel. So I decided to add some sound effects. We will crank up. Make sure our master switch is on. Then we're going to turn on our hydrogen thrusters. are Need for Speed thrusters. And you can hear them spooling up. And if we turn them off, and there's also a sound effect that keeps playing while they're running. So you'll have that little jet engine noise while your hydrogen thrusters are running. I'm not sure which mod pack adds those sound effects, but they're down here. We have the thruster on sound effect. There they are. So, jet engine on, jet engine off, and jet engine running are the 3 sound effects we're using. And now then, let's show off our decoy script. You can see right there in the bottom corner, in the bottom right hand corner, we have the 3 little arrows representing how many decoys we have available. If we press 2, we can launch a decoy. Away it goes. And then the little screen is updated, showing us we have 2 decoys left. If we launch another one, or launch the other 2 rapidly, I guess a little bit too rapidly there. Now it shows us we don't have any decoys left. Need to make sure that that didn't happen wrongly. That happens if we have the connectors set so that they have strength. They should all be 0, but let's double check. And I'm lost again. I've done that probably 30 or 40 times. Get out of the craft, and then I don't know which way is which. But let's just go in here. Connectors. And strength. We'll make sure that's all disabled. So yes. That shouldn't happen anymore then. Especially since we'll be moving forward when they launch. That really shouldn't be a big problem. So that's how the decoys launch. We have the sound set up. We have the master switch set up. We have the ore detectors toggled. Hydrogen monitors. Of course, the hydrogen one is the big middle one. Battery one is the one in the lower left-hand corner there. Anything else we need to add? I don't think so. I guess I'll show how I did the decoys. I haven't shown that yet. You can't really see this, can you? Maybe if I just select them. Okay, let's show blocking toolbar config. On. We'll do that. There we go. That way you can actually see them. So I have a name the decoys, so the merge block, the tank, the decoy itself, the small connector, the thruster, and then we have 3 timers with decoy 1 launch, decoy 2 launch, and decoy 3 launch. And these are easily set up, so we turn off the merge block, the connector, and the timer. Then we turn off stockpiling, we turn on the decoy, and we turn on the thruster, which is already set at maximum thrust override. So that's an easy way to allow us to reconfigure our missiles if we want to change them out for something else. We can still use the same script. We just have to reset up these little timers. And I like that for multi-use systems. That means we can use this script for a whole bunch of different things. Now, oh, we can also change, of course, the icon that gets drawn in there by editing the script. And I guess we'll look at the thruster script real quick. It's not something that's new. It's basically exactly like the sound script well, not exactly, but very, very close to the sound script we went over last time. The demonstration tutorial door sound script is using the Easy API to add an event when the thrusters turn on or off. And that event applies a sound, applies action as sound on, and stops the other sounds if they're running. And the reverse is true for thrusters off. One interesting thing, right here, we have in 25 seconds, start running noise. Because the play sound runs for about 25 seconds. And a start running noise down here, it checks if we actually have a sound running block and the thrusters are not working. They're not on, then it will apply the action. So if we toggle them on and off, or when we toggle them on, this gets scheduled to run. But if we toggle them back off before this is scheduled to run, it won't start the noise with that. And the rest of this is pretty much the same as we did last episode. So we add the event here, we find the blocks, we're using in groups named like instead of blocks named, blocks of type name like we did last time, but that's really just a minor thing. So in groups name like, thruster group name, blocks of type, large hydrogen thruster, blah 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 blah. None of that is particularly new for you. Now let's close this craft up. Thankfully I've kept my opening her up limited to blocks that are just plain square blocks, so that it's not hard for me to close it back up. Of course, we don't have time to build this in our Let's Play world this episode. And we may or may not get to it next episode. I'm a little bit concerned about leading guys back to our base like we did back in episode 9 and 10. We had the guys chase us back to our base and murder our base, and our base still does not have any defenses. As long as they're far enough away, it shouldn't be a problem, but they did chase me a lot farther than I was expecting, so I'm not sure what qualifies as far enough away. I guess we could always climb up pretty high. And we're going to, let's just go ahead and name this. Lastly, we want to do a little bit of coloring. Thinking we'll start with a nice cherry red base. And we'll hold down a shift and click to paint a large area. Guess most of these blocks can't be colored. Alright, that looks like most everything. Whoops, we missed a little bit there. Now we're going to switch colors to give it a little bit of a black outline, I'm thinking. And we can use control click to paint a small bit. Whoops. Assuming you press the right button. Right, control is down for me. So that's a little bit difficult. There we go. Maybe not that. I think we'll just do it on the sides. That's the wrong button. So we'll stick to, you know, normal things. I want to get this block here. If I can. Might need to control click there. And then come back and repaint that other one. Good. Perfect. Pretty good. That didn't get those. That still didn't get those. That's a little bit better. Though we painted a little bit too much. Alright, I'm going to do some of this off camera. I'll be right back. Alright. That is that. I think that looks pretty good. It's okay. It's better than, you know, just one color. Kind of. I also put a little stripe down the back here, starting just behind the cockpit. Hard to see a little bit because the engines don't really color very much, and those tanks don't color either. Still good, I think. I think this works for me. For a little bitty cheap scout, yeah, this works for me. So I'm going to upload this to the workshop. It should already be there by the time you watch this. Next episode, we will either build this or we will work on some defenses. But that is going to be it for this episode. Like if you like. Subscribe if you're not. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. I do read all the comments. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next time. Today, I have a bit of a confession to make. There's an after party in my mouth, and everyone is invited. Wait, what? Henchy!